hold on, and we have another set of interesting guests to discuss a very interesting topic with us. And you would know that the technology, ICT, is the new biggest thing that is happening to not only Nigeria but the world as a whole. But we discover that for every 2 men that you see in the ICT space, you only see probably 1 lady, and that's what we want to discuss in this section, in this segment or discussion segment. And the topic is accelerating female participation and growth within the tech space. And we have people here that would discuss this topic with us. We have TINU POPOOLA. She's an ICT expert, and welcome, TINU.
Thank you.
And then we have OLUWADARA, ADEPOJU, ICT expert too, and they are going to be discussing around how do we improve the participation of women in the tech space. You understand with me that everything around us is enabled by ICT. So, Moses.
No, we're looking at, women's participation. Most I talk about equality and all that. But in the tech space, we see more guys. We can talk about Inyoluwa, Boyeji, Uhons, Andela. Guys, those guys that are so paystack. The 2 guys. We're talking about guys. So how's it been, for women, in the digital space? Let's hear from you.
Well, it's not been an easy one, because for me it's a systemic issue and also a kind of cultural issue, because of the background and some of the challenges that most girl child grew up with. Some of this girl child they have this issue of having a kind of negative disposition about a particular subject, like mathematics, science-related subjects, chemistry and all. So once you develop a kind of notion or a kind of mindset against a particular subject, you won't be able to grow and develop in that kind of area. So that thing is really a systemic and a cultural issue among girls. So that's why it's really affecting us now that tech is becoming the big thing, because a lot of children, a lot of girl child had to pull away because of that resentment against a particular subject. So they had to pull away. Now that tech is a big thing, they are nowhere to be found. So it's really a big challenge when it comes to that.
Okay, but you didn't pull away. that's why I got here.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
All right. So concerning tech generally, I'll agree with what my colleague has said. The way women have been brought up, the thought process for, and even let's go down to training. Training has always been different for both men and women. Women are always expected to learn how to cook and do other things, while men are to work. So that alone is already a factor that already puts women at a disadvantage in schools. Even back in that's university, you will see most of engineering courses, they are majorly men or guys. They are majorly guys. Why are women not there? In also science field. And there are 2 ways to it. Either like the way we've been brought up has already changed our mindset and ideology that most women will not want to go into engineering roles while growing up because of the ideology we've been brought up with. So because of the ideology we've been brought up with, already affects that cycle, and the cycle continues like that. So now getting to university, would you want to pick up a kind of role that you think is going to be demanding, or you have that mindset, okay, it's going to be a demanding job? Engineering, they're going to be at the room, you'll not be around. Like, that's a man's job. That's how we have been designed and programmed. So now in the tech space, that's also the mindset that has been brought to the tech space. You cannot expect it to be different, because if you are, it's just like brainwashing. You brainwash someone from a very young age. Now you get to the part of university age, you cannot expect everything to be different because of the ideology the person has started with.
All right, you've been in the tech space for some time now,
yes.
And I want to ask, going by the theme of the International Women's Day that was celebrated some weeks ago, is there a bias, gender bias in the tech space?
Yes, there is a gender bias. And how? The truth is that for, like, I think you said, so like for every, like, I will say like more like for every 10 men, my statistics is not correct, I'm just saying, probably for every 10 guys in the tech industry, there's just one female. And even at my place of work, I can say that like I'm literally, if not the only female among all of them there. So that's how it's a general. Yes. So it's a general thing that you see there. So even in the text people are like, why are you not doing that? It's because of the ideology that everybody has been brought up with. For me, I did not see myself more like when I was going into tech, more of the gender thing. It's because I knew what I wanted and I wanted to do it. But when you enter and I like realize that there are not a lot of women there, but all you just have to do is try to encourage more people to see it. Like, it doesn't have to be, we don't have to look for all these other rules because of the ideology. So we have to first break down the ideology first. Yes, so it's general in the tech space. At least you will see more of men everywhere, more of men than women. Women are just coming up, but men are the majority.
So, I'd like to ask you now. Okay. You all both agree that is a societal, cultural, parental issue. Yes. Now, how do we break this barrier? How do we encourage, parents, society, that women are needed in this space to make the difference?
All right. Now, let me first of all say this. Like I said the other time, this issue is a mindset issue, and the first thing, this mindset issue can be, divided into two ways: the parts of the child and also the part of the parents or the guardians. Now, the part of the child is to say no, to set limitations in her own mind, and the part of the parent or the guardian is to say you are not capable of doing this. Now, those limitations are there, okay, and we need to actually work on those limitations, and it boils down to the girl child herself telling herself, this limitation cannot work on me. I cannot be limited. I have the mind. I can learn. This curriculum was developed within my mind, and my mind can comprehend and understand. So the girl child needs to get to that point, and also the parents need to be how do I put it now? Need to be supportive, and they also need to encourage the girl child, because when you believe that a girl child can become something, then you do everything to pull the girl child to do that thing. Now, if that encouragement is not there, the girl will still be thinking, for a girl that has not believed in herself, will still be thinking, I'm incapable, I can't do this. And that's why we need the place of guidance and guidance counselors in our educational system. We need to bring them back. When I was growing, I had them in my secondary school, the guidance and counseling team. Even though it's a government school, I don't know if we still have them, but we really need them. They need to educate, they need to help the girl child, and they need to help the parents by talking to them, inviting them to schools. When you see that this girl is not doing well in governments, in subjects like governments, accounting or something, you should be able to call the parents, speak to them, that this girl is not doing well here, but I think she's doing well in some other subject. Why don't you let her shift into that new space? You understand? So I think that's one of the things that's necessary that needs to be done.
Okay, what do you think girls or women will add to the tech space? Now, we have just a few, women in tech space, but by the time we have more, just as we are clamoring for, what will you bring, or what will they bring to the tech space? Okay,
so concerning that, the thing is that it's not really about what will they bring. Indirectly, you can pass that question to men to, like, what are they bringing to the table? We cannot really say what will women bring, because everybody has their own ideology and everybody has uniqueness. Same way men came up, or the founders of this big tech happens to be men. Same way we also have women that have great ideas and everything. So it's not, let's not even look at it like the gender part or what are we bringing to the table. Just know fully well that everybody has an idea and should be given that opportunity, equal opportunity to be able to create a startup or a business, a tech business, and be able to thrive. We need that environment for them to be able to thrive. Not really about what we bring. We all bring something to the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, when we say it's a cultural thing, it looks like maybe a global challenge, because when you look at the unicorns, you talk about the Mark Zuckerbergs, those guys in Twitter, they are all men. I want to say, even in those climbs, it seems the women are just behind, trying to catch up. So when I say it's a cultural thing, I don't think it's peculiar, to our society, to our nation alone. Is it not also about the girl child, not wanting to venture into certain things? I remember while I was going faculty of arts or communication department, for instance, 80% in my own department were girls. And when you go to communication department, even all over, you see more of ladies in those departments. So it's not also something maybe internal that, or nursing, for instance, is more of women. Even though we are seeing some men, and it's also strange for some people. Like they will still ask questions. You are a man. What are you doing in a field-dominated, profession?
Well, let me say this: that we are in Africa, and in Africa, it's a male-dominated society. Whatever a man does is the final thing. That's the belief system in Africa, and so it's really affecting the way we grow as a child in Africa, where we believe that, there's this myth that the boy child, the brain of a boy child is wired to understand mathematics, while that of the girl is going to have a bit of issues with mathematics, something like that. Now, that myth is very wrong. And it boils down to the mindset. I started with the issue of mindset, the mind of the girl child. Now, it's a cultural thing because we've been made to believe that boys can do it. And because boys can do it, we girls, we're always behind that. Okay, let's just push them. Since they are the ones that are being recognized. Something happened to me. Let me use myself as an example yesterday. A department called me where I work. They called for help for us to attend to a particular issue. And when I got there, the people there, they were women actually, and they've been battling with it for like 30 minutes before I came. So when I got there, the woman was just looking at me what's she going to do? Can she actually attend to us? Can she actually do this thing? And I got there. What they've been battling with for 30 minutes, I did it under 5 minutes. And the issue was there. I know inside her, she was thinking, go and call us. Let's call our supervisor. Our supervisor will handle it. A man can handle it better. We'll do it faster. But when I got there, I looked at this issue first, think of what to do first before I start attending to her. Unlike a man will just get there and believe, oh, I know how to do these things, and start working on it. But I had to pull back first, understand the problem before I solve the problem. You understand? So those are the things that are there. The woman was just looking at me, and when I saw I saw her beaming with smiles. I was like, oh, so you will still smile after the way you were looking at me, and it's like that, and it's like that in other places too. A lot of people go through these things, and it's because of the way we've been brought up in African culture. It's a male-dominated society, and we've been made to believe that men can do it better. And it's actually, the girl child needs to believe in herself, needs to understand that she can do it, and she can go for it.
All right, let me ask you, Dara. What don't you think exposing a girl child at a very tender age to the tech space would help develop their interests in it? Because it seems as though most of the time at a young age, most parents expose their boys to those tech things than the girls.
Yeah, you're actually right on that. I believe that I am an advocate of getting children, both male, both female, into the tech space as early as possible. Like you said, yes, exposing them to, starting from basic STEM programs, like introducing them to STEM program is already a way to kickstart their career, their interest in tech. I know countless number of people that, because of they were exposed to STEM at an early age, that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So once they're exposed to that, they develop interest. I hear them like, okay, I'm interested in tech. I want to know. I want to go into programming. What can I do with programming? They would definitely develop that interest because they have seen a world of possibilities by that small or that exposure to STEM or to anything tech related at a young age. Even I've heard stories of young people, even boys, that because they were introduced to programming at probably when they were 11, before they got to 19, they've started doing amazing things because of that exposure. So, like you said, yeah, that exposure matters a lot. Yes.
Right. You want to say something?
In fact, my daughter started a Scratch programming class yesterday, and she created her first project on animation. I had to put it on my Facebook page yesterday and tell people, oh, my daughter was, she did this, and and when I asked her about her experience, she told me it was nice. That was her first exposure to coding. She has always been doing the theory parts in school, but exposing her to the coding world, exposing her to real IT. You understand? That was her first experience, and she's beginning to feel like a guru. And she told me that, "Mommy, sit down. Let me teach you this thing." You can imagine. I was like, now girls in tech are now taking over from women in tech. Yes. So that's it.
Yeah, many thanks. Unfortunately, we can't continue, but I think you've driven your point home, talking about accelerating female participation, and that now that you're in that space, you also do more to bring in other girls. Tell them to be daring. I mean, we are guys, and we want to see more of girls doing in that particular space. And I think based on what you said, you can see the future is bright, right?
Yeah,
we'll see more of girls, of women in future.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
And that's a good place to leave it. So many thanks, Mrs. Tinola POPOOLA and ICT experts. Thanks for coming, and also Ms. OLUWADARA ADEPOJU also an ICT experts. I mean, and they are making waves in the ICT sector. So that's the program this morning. Many thanks for watching. It all continues, but tomorrow, Thursday, it will be time for the Yoruba edition called Otunojo. While on Friday, today we'll be here with Kim Akinsidi for the Friday edition. Well, again, next week, Wednesday. So I say to you, I think, do have a lovely day. Bye for now.